Hey, Troy, I just bought a storage locker.
What'd you pay for it?
Way too much, brother.
Let's see what's inside.
Let's do it.
Hello, boys.
Happening now. It's happening now. Happening now. With Hammer.
Hey, welcome back. I'm Hammer, and you're watching Happening Now. Guys, I want to thank you. It's been amazing, the run that we're having. We just did our first dive fan show, the bartender Tales with Cash. He did a great job. Thanks for watching, and keep watching. Today's kind of interesting. We have a new friend of ours that's going to be joining us periodically, hopefully more often than not. Troy, are you a big A&E fan? Do you watch any of their shows?
I, unfortunately, am a big TV fan, and I do watch A&E, yes.
Have you ever seen Storage Wars?
I can't say every episode, but yeah, I'm a fan.
I only watch it for one reason, because there's this really hot chick on there. You remember her name? Mm-hmm. Is it Brandi?
It is.
Hey, Brandi, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
It's magic. I said Brandi, and she appeared.
Here I am.
So, Brandi, we're very excited to have you today. We love your show, and we want to know about you and about your show. How did you get started? How did this all come about?
Honestly, it was just kind of a weird fluke. We were going to auctions, and we owned a store.
What kind of store did you have?
We had a secondhand store because, well, okay, going back. We had a mortgage company, and it was around 2007.
Ooh.
And you know how that went.
Ooh.
Yeah. And Jared's aunt worked for Public Storage. And she said, have you ever been to these auctions? So he just started going and got hooked and was bringing all of this stuff home. And it was in my garage. It was in my house. And then he started putting it on the side yard. We had RV parking at the time. And then, it was just kind of everywhere, just everywhere.
So you're having that cluster house.
Yeah, no, I'm starting to freak out a little bit. We have to do something about this, So we opened up a little secondhand store, and Jared got approached at an auction to just do like a sizzle reel, which is just like a couple of minutes on camera just to see how, and they liked him. They came to our shop. They met me, and they were like, would you like to be on camera? And I was like, I'll try it, whatever. We didn't think it was going to go anywhere.
But it was something new and cool.
Right. But at the same time, he also got approached by a show on Spike TV that was just like a similar concept. That show, though, was staged. It was, the auctions were done out of like a warehouse, and it was two guys. One was like a bouncer or something, and the other guy was just like a TV announcer. And they wanted us to be a part of that, but we figured the one that because we're actually doing this, we figured it would be a better bet to go with the A&E show.
So A&E was out trolling for talent, basically, as they were developing a new show?
Right.
And that's how they found you? Okay.
Correct. So Tom Beers owned Original Productions. He, started with like Biker Build Off and Monster Garage with Jesse James, and Barry is a good friend of his. Barry is Jesse James's godfather. So he was on, a couple of those shows. They became friends, and, he's an interesting kind of kooky guy. And, Bears really just wanted to do a show around him.
I love Barry. He's a cool guy. I love the way he dresses, and I love his cars.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I've met Barry a few times. He's a hoot.
He really is. A hoot is a good term.
That is a good term for him.
A hoot.
We'll leave it at that.
So somebody kind of mentioned, have you heard of these auctions? And he said, I thought that would be a great concept for Barry. So they started, fishing through the auctions, trying to find, good talent to do the show.
Now, Brandi, can anybody go to these auctions?
Anybody can go. They are public auctions. There's a term called collusion. So if you, don't allow people to come in, then you're, basically breaking the law.
Because it's a public auction.
It's a public auction.
So how would I find out about that, though?
Initially, back in the day, it was really cool because it was kind of a secret society. A lot of people just didn't know that this even existed until we got on TV. There's little newspaper ads here and there throughout the towns, and you kind of follow the auctioneers. They have websites and things like that. And once the show aired, it was a shit show because, I mean, hundreds of people were showing up at the auctions and it would take forever.
I do remember that they actually have, I think it's mandatory or legally mandatory for them to advertise any auction of a locker because they have to give public notice. Is that right?
It is correct. Yeah. Basically, if your unit has gone to default for 30 days, they put a lien on it. They send you a letter. And then 30 days later, they put it up for auction.
Yeah, but I'm figuring if I own the storage company, I want as many people there as I can possibly get there, so it drives up the price, so I make more money, right?
Hence
Obviously.
auction. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And, the auctioneers like to do that as well because they get their commissions.
Brandi, you mentioned Barry, who's we've all know and love, but he's the only guy I think on the show that doesn't have like a retail store. Do you kind of have to have a retail entity to have it make sense? Because all of a sudden, like you said, you're going to have a yard full of stuff.
Not necessarily. I no longer own a store, so I kind of cherry pick items now and, I either give stuff away. I got junk a lot of stuff. Or, I know a couple of people that own shops that, they'll buy the runoff from me. So you don't necessarily need a store.
So what happens to all that other stuff? I mean, I see, there's a couple of guys in there that have stores now.
Right.
And they seem to be loving it. But what happens if you buy a locker that just is filled with stuff? What do you end up doing with that? Going to the
Filled with good stuff or filled with garbage? I mean, you always have the option of renting the unit, until you can kind of figure out what you're going to do with all of that stuff.
Oh, wow. I never thought about that.
I didn't know that either. That's
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, there is that option. I mean, that's the whole point of, selling these units off is because they need the space. They want the money for that space. So if I buy the unit and I don't have anywhere to put all my stuff, I can go ahead and rent that unit until I get rid of it or, I make that choice. I'm more of a kind of a bird in the hand kind of person. And so I just kind of pick what I think I can sell pretty quickly and then get rid of the rest of it.
Well, I'm going to tell you a deep, dark secret that none of you guys know this about me.
With your clothes on?
Probably, well, just the shirt, from the shirt down, there's nothing. But anyway, about 20, 30 years ago, probably more like 35 years ago, I went to one of these auctions because this girl got me. She goes, I'm going to this auction. I'm working for this storage place and I'm doing an auction. And it was in Buena Park. Mm-hmm. And I got suckered into this thing and I bought a unit. Okay. And I spent like, I don't know, back then I had like $45 or something, $145 or something. And all I did was pull up my pickup, clean it up, and take everything to the dump. I didn't do well. So I wasn't good at it at all.
I've been to a couple in Costa Mesa, and I again saw it in the newspaper that there's some units for sale, but they have to actually give a small description of some of the things that may or may not be in there, and it was like a bunch of musical equipment. So I went there, and there's like drums in there and some guitar boxes. It got a little higher than I wanted to pay, so I didn't bid on it. Well, I bid on it, but I didn't get as high as they did. But let it go.
Brandi, do you have a favorite episode? I have a favorite episode of you.
Honestly.
Okay, I'll tell you what my favorite episode is.
Okay.
I loved it when you just slap your former friend around so hard when you bought those four-wheelers.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah. Yeah, when I bought the quads.
You bought the quads.
Yeah, he wasn't feeling that.
No, and you paid like, what, $5,800 or something for it?
Something like that. Yeah. I mean, and, in general, I tried not to spend a lot of money, but I knew, I know how much those are worth.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if they're running.
Well, yeah, you guys went out and played with them.
We did. We did.
Do you know what happens? I see sometimes they have cars in there.
So that depends. Oftentimes they'll say everything, the contents of the room are all for sale except for the car, because, titles are involved and things like that. So, in general, you don't get the car out of the...
But you still have...
Cars and guns are always a little tricky.
Cars and guns.
Yeah.
Cars and guns.
But you mentioned, too, that, they have to be public, right? You have to let the public in.
Absolutely.
And obviously we don't see that on camera where a non-celebrity or staff or cast purchases, but do they during filming? Some other people will buy those.
They absolutely do.
They do. Okay.
They bid us up. They buy units. It's 22 minutes of TV. So you have to fit all of us in because that's who people are watching the show for, and, so they just don't showcase a lot of the other people.
So do you ever go to one of these auctions and none of you guys got to buy something?
Yes. And so we have to go to another auction.
I'm always curious too. It's, the allure of the show is hidden treasure, right? I mean, since you were a little kid, and you remember back in the 30s and 40s, right? It was all like this, cloak and dagger stuff. It's like there's hidden treasure
You
somewhere.
might remember the 30s
I know.
and 40s.
Do you remember the
but I
30s
don't. I
and
wasn't
40s?
around.
What in the hell?
TV. I was thinking of like World War II, right? That era where it's like you're always, you're
Were you in the war?
You're combating.
Or?
Heard about it. but that's the allure of the show, right? It's the unknown. There's secret treasure. I mean, is that kind of, do you feel the same way, Brandi, about that?
I think that's the biggest part of it for most people. It's the thrill of, possibly getting something great, I mean, more often than not, those units are 4 out of 5 times they're filled with, just garbage and you know what I mean? You get a safe.
Well, that's a win. That's a win. Great.
Honestly, it's so funny because we find porn in a lot of storage units.
What's the guy's name that did real well with the art?
Daryl.
What happened?
The Frank Gutierrez paintings that he's never sold one of. You mean
that's
those?
hilarious.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I do have to ask.
If you ask him, he'll tell you he did, but he's not an honest person generally most of the time.
Well, I was wondering.
He's more of a hype man for himself.
If you could even say anything about other cast members, but is he putting on a persona? Is he really that guy?
No, he's really that guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Enough said.
He's special.
We'll stop. You know who I really like on the show?
Who's that?
Kenny.
I love Kenny.
I love Kenny. Kenny is so cool. I love his cadence, his approach to the lockers and stuff. I just love Kenny.
Kenny's one of my favorite humans. We should bring him on.
We should
bring him out
Kenny's
here sometime.
Great.
He calls or texts me every day. How you doing, homegirl? You all right?
Yeah.
You doing okay? You gonna make me something to eat soon?
What's his phrase? Can you do it?
Can he do it?
Can you do it? Or can you did it? Or can
Watch your profanities.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, he's just a fun guy.
Absolutely.
He's a great human. He's funny.
What about that other guy? He had a store here in Newport Beach I saw for a while.
Oh, Dave.
Is that one of your favorite people?
No. And I don't think that's a secret. Hester, the only thing that you can appreciate about Dave Hester is he is face value.
Yeah.
He doesn't pretend to be anything other than a dick. That is who he is.
Well, he doesn't look like he wants to get along with anybody.
He really doesn't. You know what I mean? Except for, I don't know.
Himself.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
I've had a question I've always wanted to ask you, Brandi. How far would you go? 2 ways. How far would you go distance-wise to buy a locker, and how far would you go money-wise to buy one?
Okay, that's not where I thought you were going with this.
Me neither. I was kind of getting interested here.
That's the beauty of it. That's happening now.
This podcast is getting exciting.
Distance-wise, I was in Santa Clarita last week, which is pretty far, but we've gone all the way up to San Francisco. We've gone to Vegas. In San Francisco, I think we spent about $20,000. We bought about 4 units full of brand new furniture.
Wow.
Yeah. So, we've spent some money.
Does the show
traveled a little bit? It's just not really economically feasible to travel super far away. So we try to stay
to get somebody's
in this
pillows and their
Yeah, exactly.
Well, on average, how often do they have auctions locally?
Every day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, every day. For us, a big problem is, shooting wise, if they're willing to allow us to shoot there, public storage was never one that allowed us.
Well, that's just bad business. I mean, of course.
No, actually, I think that their thought process is that they don't want to showcase the fact that if you don't pay for your unit, we're going to sell it kind of scenario. Yeah. So you're going to lose your shit, your personal property, your pictures, you know what I mean? Like your memories, we're going to sell that if you don't pay.
Listen, but Brandi, you're going to lose your shit if you have a house and you don't pay the
It's
banker.
true. It's true. It's true. They just don't,
I mean, to me, that's free advertising.
There's not a show called Foreclosure. You know what I mean? Because nobody wants to see that.
Right.
It's kind of sad.
But it's out there.
Yeah. So I think that's just, they do fine all on their own, and they don't really want to showcase that kind of scenario.
And
So they
Brandi,
don't do it at all.
Yeah.
No. They never have.
If you were to pick
Never been willing.
your favorite find, not necessarily the most valuable, but your favorite find, what would it be?
On the spot.
Everybody asks these questions.
Well, so you should have a standard
and it's
answer.
so funny.
Should I retract it?
I do on some level, but for me, I think, like I said, I'm a bird in the hand kind of person. So any kind of money, I'm happy to find. Anything that I can get rid of quickly is what I want, because that's the whole point of it. I don't want to
like a boyfriend or a husband. Get rid of it quickly.
Bada bang.
Yeah, pass on that one. I'll let somebody else have that unit.
Well, speaking of cash, is it true that your auctioneers that you started with? I don't know how often they're still there, but the Dobsons, right? They do a great job. Pay the lady. I understand that
like
he's
Jerry Lewis. Pay the lady.
I understand if it's rumor or not that he actually sold a unit for like $500 and there was a 7.5 million in a safe inside that.
There was.
See, that's what you're looking for.
Yeah.
That's what
I'm looking for.
Wow.
I found one that had a bunch of, pieces of eight and coins and, jewelry and things like that. Generally you find a safe, you get a little excited, you crack it open, and it's the combination and like a paper clip or something.
That was the opening shot, right? That was the opening shot of the show forever.
But
and you just ruined the safe, so now you just lost your money.
That's
gone.
Exactly.
People don't put their Playboys in safes, right?
Oh, well, I found one. There was a binder with, I think, all of the greatest they had like ripped out pages from different publications and, put them in the little sleeve.
So you could actually move the pages apart?
Well, that means they were really into it and they spent time on that. Come on.
Right. Yeah.
That's commitment.
In mom's basement.
That is commitment to your...
Mom, I'll be up for dinner later.
To your boner jams, whatever.
Hey, listen, if I wasn't doing this show, I would definitely be doing I'm telling you. I know you would.
I don't think they'd have you.
I was at the Rainbow Room one night with a bunch of my girlfriends, and Ron Jeremy was there and came over to our table and started playing the harmonica.
His harmonica?
Uh-huh.
Nice.
Yeah. And we were like, what the and he's like, does anybody want an autograph? And I was like, Mika does. So pushed her forward, and I have a video, he starts signing her chest, and then he starts trying to get in there, and she was like, okay
time out.
we're good.
I got you beat. I met Jack Nicholson there, so I got you beat there.
Oh man. Duff McKagan was there that night. It was his birthday. We sang happy birthday to him. Taylor Hawkins from Foo Fighters came over and ate all my mozzarella sticks. I was pissed. He was like, so what are you doing later? I was like, are you buying me more mozzarella sticks? Because
I don't know about you guys, but I kind of miss Ron Jeremy. I don't know what he's doing now. I think he's in a cell somewhere, but don't know.
He's having blood transfusions, I think.
Yeah, something's going on there. But hey, once again, I want to thank you for hanging out with us. So if you like what you heard, hit that subscribe, hit that bell, ding, ding, right? We love you. We'll see you next time on Happening Now with Hammer. Peace out.